Hello, in this video of Maximum Technology, we're going to learn how to make a tab bar with a navigation setup. So you're going to be able to have a tab bar and switch between views like this example, but also you'll be able to put buttons and you'll be able to click to a different screen but still be able to use your tab bar. You'll be able to make as many buttons as you like on any of these screens, and your tab bar will still be able to pass you to different screens with different buttons. So if that's something you want to know how to do, just keep watching. So we're going to start by opening up Xcode and creating a new project. For this, we're going to use a regular app template and hit next. For the product name, we can just call it tab bar with navigation. Our interface will be storyboard, our lifecycle will be UI kit, and our language will be Swift. If you have any of these boxes checked, just uncheck them and hit next and create it wherever you like. Alright, so now that this is created, I'm just going to expand this, and let's get right to work by going to our main.storyboard. I'm going to zoom out quite a bit here, and the first thing I'm going to do is hit this plus icon and search for tab bar, and you should see three options, and the one we're going to be getting is the tab bar controller. So drag that onto here and select the first view controller it comes with, not your original, and just backspace that. We're going to be doing this from scratch for example purposes. Of course, if you're doing this with a real project, you're welcome to use those view controllers, or you can follow it this way. So I'm just going to pull this down a little more. And now we're going to search for navigation. Oh, here it is right here. Navigation controller. Pop that in, and it comes with another view controller. In this case, it's a table view. You can also hit backspace. And now, in order to get more of these navigation controllers, you can just come up here and keep dragging them in. But instead of that, I'm just going to go to the hierarchy over here and choose navigation controller and hit Command C and Command V twice. I'm only going to have 3 tabs for this example. If you need more, make more navigation controllers. Now that I have all the navigation controllers I want, I can click the tab bar controller, hold Control, and drag from it to my first navigation controller. And for the relationship segue, I'm going to choose View Controllers. I'll do that again. Hit Control, drag, View Controllers. And one final time. And now, we're going to need more of these regular view controllers. So, of course, just search View Controller, drag another one on, and one final one. Alright, let's just align these up, and that looks pretty good to me. So the next thing we're going to do is change up this tab bar a little bit. So right now we just have these squares and it says item for all of them. Let's change that. The first one will be home. Of course, this can be whatever you like. And for the image, I'm just going to search home. And I think it's under house actually. Yep, house. And cart, because I'm going to call this shop. And for the final one over here, I'm going to say settings and search for a gear shape. Alright, now I've got all of this, but one final thing is missing. This stuff up here has no understanding that these even exist. And this is where we're designing the view. So in order for that to understand that these exist and we edit on this, we need to come up here, and similar to what we did up there, we're going to hold Control and drag to our first view controller from our first navigation controller. And for the relationship segue, we're going to choose root view controller. We're going to do that for this one, root view controller, and again, root view controller. To verify that this worked, you can look in the hierarchy, or you can come down here and see these lines that just appeared and these things up there and at the bottom. Now the last thing we can do before we run it is click on the top part and go to Title under this inspector, and you can just call it what your tab is called. So in my case, Home, Shop, and Settings. There we go. So now we have this whole setup complete. Don't worry if this doesn't update right away. It should be working. So let's verify that by changing our simulator. I'm going to be using the 12 mini and a fast here so that I can show this to you without wasting too much time. Looks like it's going to be fast today. So when this loads, we should see our tab bar, and the simulator's being weird. I'm just going to close all other apps and reopen this one. And okay, it's not actually being weird. So we forgot to do something in here, which is a really good example of what not to do. So when you're in here, the app has no idea of which screen it should show. There's so many screens by now, it doesn't know which one it wants you to show first. So it's a good thing I made this mistake because it's really good to understand this. You need to come up to your tab bar controller, click the top little bar here and choose Is Initial View Controller. Now the app will load and it's going to show this screen first, which coincidentally has all of this attached to it. So we're going to see all of this stuff first and be able to navigate to all of this. So now that we're here, let's also change the background color of our views. I'm just going to do a bunch of random colors. And all right, let's hit Command R again. And this time we will see our tab bar because we set that tab bar controller as our initial view controller. So as you can see, we have our tab bar and our colors, and we can switch between each one. So now what about the navigating within each tab, like within each view? How would you implement navigation to another view from here? Let's look at that right now. So in order to do that, let's first create an IB action. So let's jump over to our view controller and quickly do that. We're going to say at IB action, then we're just going to make a basic IB action function. I'll call it didTab button. Now in here, we're going to first create a view controller to be presented. So we're going to say let VC equal UI view controller and create it by putting 2 parentheses. Now we're going to say vc.view.background color, just so it's different. I'll do yellow like in the example. Make sure you put a dot yellow. And then go down twice and say navigation controller optional dot push view controller. Then say VC for the view controller and animated will be true. Let's go back into our storyboard to connect this up. Click up here and right click the first one, and at the bottom you should see the received action, which is the IB action we created. But actually I almost forgot kind of the most important part. We need to get a button first, so just hit the plus, drag in a button. I'm going to apply some pretty basic constraints here, and I'll just call it next VC. Bump up the font a little bit. We'll say 25, and I'll change the color so it's more visible. So now we can connect it. Click here, right click on there, received actions, and drag from your received action to your button. It's going to give you this pop-up to choose what kind of tap this is. We're just going to choose the standard touch up inside, which is a standard tap on a button. And now, as you can see in the hierarchy, the button is all connected. If you right click, you can do it over here or up here like I showed you. You can see that there is a connection from the action to the button. So let's hit Command R again, and we should be able to navigate from our first view to our next view with this button. So we can still switch between, but when we click our button, it transitions us to another view within one of our root view controllers of our navigation. And we didn't even have to create it in the storyboard. You're welcome to create it in the storyboard. I'm not going to do that for this video though. Look out for another video on how to do that. But that's basically it. That's how you set up a navigation with a tab bar, and you're able to have something like this. This is the most common setup within an app because a lot of apps have tab bars. I'm sure you've seen them all over the place. And obviously, the apps have buttons and they need to be able to do this same thing. So there you go. I hope this helped you, and thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and like and share if it did help you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.